Hello friends, welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today I'm going to be setting up my budget planner for January and for 2024 for the full year. I'll be just kind of showing you guys the pages that are in my current budget planner that I have available in my shop, as well as showing you how I'm actually using those pages and maybe give you guys some ideas for your own budget planning. So if that sounds good, let's jump in. So when you get into my shop, you will see that there is a budget planner. It's more of an overview style. I don't have a lot of worksheet style printables in this planner, but I do have some of the major overview pages that you might want in your own budget planner. So there is a cover page, and then there are a few yearly overview pages. The ones I decided to print for myself are these. So there's a year at a glance, there's a year overview. So the year at a glance I envision using for annual bills, things that I might need to be aware of coming up sometime in the year, but maybe aren't every month. So that's what I'm thinking for that. Yearly overview, this is a really great way to get a good snapshot of your entire year, building off of the monthly pages I'll show you in a minute. You put in your monthly income, expenses, saving, and then any differences in the end. So if you're trying to get a zero budget, this might be a good way to kind of make sure that you're using all of your funds. If not, then you could also just see, well, we spent more this month for, maybe it was Christmas time and you spent more than you had bringing in, that kind of thing. So you can kind of see the plus or minus here. There's also a grid at the bottom. And what I did for the grid last year was to plot each month the income, the expenses, savings, and then I did a line chart. So that's what I'm planning to do again here. We will come back to this page. I'll set this up in the video, but I wanted to show you how I was going to be using this one. You could also do a bar graph on this as well. If, let's say, you don't track your savings, you just want to see income versus expenses, you could do one column here for income, one column for expenses, and there's a way to do two columns for each month down here, or a plotted line graph. Next, we have the annual payment tracker, which is a horizontal layout. So the way that I envision using this is listing out all of our bills that we have every month usually, or even annual bills, and then adding in the amounts that we paid into the individual months. This is a little bit tight for, if you want to put dollars and cents, but if you just want a rough overview, you can put the dollar amount for each bill cycle. I think this is plenty of room for that. And then you can also total it up at the end of the year if you want to see how much you spent in a specific category or with a specific vendor for your, let's say, your electricity, that kind of thing. So that's what that'll be used for. And I'll set this up as well. We also have an account transactions page. So for this page here, what I'm going to be doing is tracking the major bank accounts that I'm currently using. So I'll put the account name at the top and then basically just track the credits and debits for each of those accounts going down the list. This page can be printed, actually all of these pages can be printed either as left or right pages, which is nice. So if you want to build out your own planner, you can choose how you want to do it. This one I'm going to print front and back for each account. So this will be one account, and then we'll do this one, 2, 3, 4 accounts that I currently track in my budget planner. So those are the yearly pages we'll set up, and then we'll get into the monthly. So I just have them in here in a old Happy Planner cover, which is from a budget planner from a Happy Planner, some gold metal mini discs for the time being, and then some DIY dividers I made a while back so that I can easily track what month the inserts are in, pull them out, and put them away into my catch-all planner, which is where I do all of the budgeting. I won't be budgeting in here. I'll be moving each month out, as well as annual pages out into my catch-all Franken planner system. So I'm always working out of one planner. but this is where the storage will be for those items when I'm done with them and when I'm getting ready to pull them for the next month. So there are some pages for the monthly overview. This is the month at a glance view. This will set up as well today. I use this for bill pay planning. I like to see what bills are coming up in the month as the month is laid out. It's nice that this one is dated so that I don't have to worry about dating each month. And I can put in the bill amounts down below. So that's how I envision it. Over here is the month overview. This will be used for, again, basically the same information. So I'll be taking the income, putting that down here, the expenses, putting those here, any savings that I'm going to be relocating the money to, and then doing the totals. This page is really great for summarizing your whole month, and then you can put that into those annual pages and do a nice chart graph to see how your spending and budgeting is going. So that's how I'm using that. This year I added a projected and an actual in case there are some bills that may fluctuate, but you want to kind of get an idea how much you're going to be paying for the month beforehand. This will be a nice addition to this layout. So next we have just the monthly expenses, and here I've printed off 3 pages. I usually only do about 2, but I'd like to have a complete month. So I went ahead and printed it on the back as well. So I'll have a place to track all of the expenses across all of our, credit cards and things. And then you're able to categorize those, delineate them into accounts. So whatever account you use to pay the amount. And then also I've added a checkbox at the edge, which is kind of nice too if you have some items that are pending in your account when you're checking but haven't cleared, or if you know there's a big expense coming up, but you haven't actually seen it go through your bank account, but you're expecting it, you can wait until it's actually cleared to check it off. So that's it, you guys, for the pages I decided to use in my budget planner this year, but there are a few other options in the planner. So a lot of these kind of like account transactions, there's another option in the printable that you could use. It's a lot more detailed, more like a check register. You wanted to use that type of format instead. I think there's also a different type of yearly payment tracker, which is more of a check off versus a payment spacing area. So it's just check off January, February when that payment is made, and things like that. So it's not just these pages that are available, but these are the ones that I decided to use for myself and printed off for 2024. Okay, so that's the big overview. Let's drill down into setting up these pages. I don't share my finances anywhere on the internet, but what I'm going to do is set this up without any numbers. So I know for this year at a glance, I have a few things that come up. So for example, I know that our P.O. box will be renewed in February. Renewal. And I'm just going to put I have the 24th as that. Also, our internet provider will renew. Actually, let me pull this out because these discs aren't bulky enough yet to really make that work. Internet renewal. This probably won't be an item that I need to think about because we will be moving, but just in case we get postponed once again, I'll put it down there. If not, I'll make a change and update it when we move to our new place. We've got in March 2, my domain name comes up for renewal. So we'll do domain renewal. The one that I've had forever and haven't done anything with, but keep paying for it. Let's see, it should be the 24th as well. And April, we've got taxes. I don't know what the date is yet, but I will double check it. I know the 15th is the standard, but it's been kind of fluctuating over the years, so we'll see what the date is this year. I also have the Costco renewal. In April. I don't know what date. So that one will probably just stay as is. June, we have insurance. Car insurance. And that is due on the 15th. And then we have, we do like AAA. So we have that, AAA membership. It's due, I think it's the same day. All right, so we've got Mint. We do Mint Mobile right now, and that is an annual payment for us. So that one will be for Hubs. My husband has his due a little bit earlier than me since he tried it before I did. And that will be on the 17th. And then Mint Mobile, me, and that one is on the 29th. August, okay. This is another one that may or may not be applicable by the time we get to it. Car registration, I can spell. I am using, just in case you're unaware, I'm using a friction pen so I can erase the pen when I make mistakes. It's a 4-color pen. If you are interested, I'll try to add it to the description just in case this is new to you and you'd like to look into it a little bit more. But I love friction pens. So we've got car registration. And that one is me on the 2nd. And then I'll shrink this up because it's getting too long. Hubs. And his is on the 14th. And lastly, in October, I have my Adobe subscription. I should probably put Creative Cloud. On the 4th, I think. Okay, so that's just kind of like the snapshot of things that are only due once a year or something I need to pay attention to once a year. A nice way to just have it at a glance to see what's coming up. This one I really can't do until the year begins. We'll skip that, but then we'll go to the yearly payment tracker and get that set up. Okay, so we've got housing. Not sure what that's going to be yet, but we'll put that down there. And then I like to put the date that it's going to be due. Usually housing is due on the 1st, so we'll put that there. Yeah, things are going to change, so I'm just going to leave it as housing for now until, we figure it out. And then we've got electricity, since again, that's going to change. Electric, gas. And right now it's due on the 2nd, but that will change probably as well. Okay, credit cards. So we've got our Costco Visa. It's due on the 3rd. We've got Discover. And one is in my husband's name, so Hubs. And then Discover. We'll change those into something else soon. Let's see. So we've got this one's due on the 6th, and this one's due on the 16th. Oh, I have a business visa, so Biz Visa, and that's mine. And that one's due on 28th. Okay, so those are like kind of the normal ones that we usually have to pay. Then there's also like internet. And again, that's probably going to change, but for now, the date that comes out is on the 19th. And then this one is an auto pay currently. We've got Netflix. And that one comes out on the 30th, and that's also an auto pay. We've got Max. And this one is also an auto pay. And that one comes out on the 22nd. That was something new that we did. Okay, so that's the main ones aside from the annual payments that we'll be putting in here. For now, I'm just going to stick with this because there may be more things that come out specifically because we're going to be moving. So I want to make sure I have enough room. And then I'll just write in the annual payments as they come up and add it to the payment tracker. Like I said, this is the date. The other payment tracker has a column specifically for this. This one does not, but as you can see, you can easily add that in if you want. Okay, so that's just how I'll set it up. And then when the time comes to pay, so like I think right now we're paying like $2.99 for Max. So when it comes up, I'll just write in $3. You know what I mean? And go all the way across, and same until we cancel. This page here and this page here, I will probably only update once a month. I'm not going to track everything on these pages as the month goes through, just because that's a little bit redundant to check it every day. So these are just going to be like monthly pages to review. My account transactions. So this one I will set up with the account name. The first account I want to track is our home checking. And I'll set up the primary balance on the first line. So I'll put in 1124, and then I'll put starting balance, and I'll put the amount here. And these will be obsolete. And then we'll go down from there. So we've got home checking, which this is the same. Let's go ahead and write it in. Home savings, business checking, slush fund, savings. So those are the 4 accounts that I'll track myself. We have other accounts, but those ones are the ones that I like to just keep an eye on and see how they're doing. So those are the setups for the annual pages that I need. Not really that much, honestly. Again, I like to keep things really simplified and not overwhelming as far as budgeting. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the monthly overview for January. So this one I definitely do color code. I like to use red for anything that's an expense. I will use green for income. Blue is usually like a savings move, and then black is just any kind of notation. So we're going to start off with red. I'm referencing off camera my current month, so I kind of can just easily see at a glance where things need to go, and then I'll write it in. So we'll start off with the first one, which will be housing. And then we've got electric, Costco Visa, Discover, Business Visa. So those are the major expenses for the month. There's also those auto pays that are going to come out. Those ones I'm going to put in black in the bottom just so I don't forget about those. But again, they don't really count towards expenses because they're going into one of the credit cards. So I'll put those in accordingly. Here we have internet, Max, Netflix. And then next, I'm going to put in income. Let's see. And I'm putting little boxes next to them so I can check them off as they clear. I'm also going to put one because I have multiple Etsy payments in the month. Affiliate, YouTube, Amazon as well. The next step I'll do is once I've got the dates put in, I will put in the same thing down below here. So actually I'm going to put, just for guidance, but I don't normally write this in, expenses, and then income. Here I will write in each. So expenses, we've got housing, electric, Visa, Discover, Discover 2, this one is Hubs, mine, Biz, Visa, and that's it for those types of payments. And then I will also add in, again, kind of in black, the auto payments on the bottom. So I'll put in internet, and I'll say what card it's coming out of actually. Discover, Max, Discover, then Netflix, Discover. Okay, so that's the first step. Then we go into the income, and I'll write down here the corresponding income for each. Since most of the time I don't know what's coming in, it's a very fluid system we've got. I just kind of prep it and then watch it as I go, the stuff that I can kind of see what's expected. And then anything that comes in for my husband, I'll put down here as his income. So the next step I would do is to set up this part of it. Basically, it's just taking this and transferring it over to here. I will put in all of the income expenses. And income. Again, like the way that me and my husband do it, I'm just going to put his under savings because he does usually just drop it straight into savings, even though it does count as income. If I don't move it out of there unless I have to for the month if, you know, our expenses aren't met with my own income. So that's usually how we do it. So at the end, I will put in what I expect to get for these numbers and then what we actually got. And then again, just do the totals here. And I like to do the plus or minus balance. So if we spent more than we saved, then so on and so forth, and just kind of knowing how all that worked out. And you have a space for notes. Okay, so those are the monthly overview pages. Aside from that, the only other layout that I have here is the monthly expenses. This one is just me keeping track of any expenses that we have throughout the month that come out of our credit card. I don't count the things, well, no, I take that back. Yeah, they come out of our credit cards usually. Anything that's coming out of our banks directly, like housing or utilities, things like that, anything that's really on this part of the sheet goes in and out of our bank accounts direct. Those I don't actually track here in my monthly expenses. I know some people do it that way where they will track everything and anything, and that's fine too. And you can say which account it came out of and all that stuff. But for us, it'll just be the credit card. So credit card payments, debit payments, and if there's a large cash payment, which usually doesn't happen, but if we decide that, we sold something on Craigslist and got some money and then went and bought something else with it, I might track that as well here, even though it didn't go in and out of a credit card. That's pretty much it. This one is pretty self-explanatory. You would put the date, the description of the item that you purchased or that you spent the money on, what category you would classify that in. So whether it be, food, gas, groceries, well, food and groceries the same, but like restaurants, eating out, that kind of thing. You could put it all in here, what account it was tied to. So again, these would be our credit card accounts for me, but you could also put in your bank accounts if you pay with debit, or if you do cash envelopes, or, you know, like cash payments with wallet, you could also track it here. So that's the account, and then the amount you actually expended. And then if there's like a return or something, sometimes I will switch the color so I can easily see at a glance that it's a return. And I'll put it in green, the amount, so I know that that's money coming back to me. And then we kind of briefly talked about this. The check mark will be for when the things actually clear your accounts. So I have that in there ready to go for January. And that's basically all the setup that I'm going to do, other than adding in the actual numbers. Pretty much everything is set up and ready to go. So I hope that was a good overview for you guys to kind of see how I'm budgeting for 2024. I will have this budget printable linked in the description, along with my favorite friction pen. And if there's something else that I can think of that you might be interested in from this video, I will put it down below in the description. I will also link my previous budget setup video, which is very similar as far as the monthly budgeting that I did earlier in 2023. That might be helpful for you if you want to see actual numbers moving around. I did like a kind of fake setup so you guys could see that as well. A little bit different planner this year, so I wanted to do a new setup so you could see how that all went. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch, and think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we will see you next time. Bye!